Okay, a moment ago I was talking to you about no burn out there in the paddock. I'd like to do a little demonstration to show you how effective no burn is. Now what I've got here is two little bits of stick. Right, there's a little bit of wood there. It's about 1 inch by 3/4, which I'm going to put there in the barbecue. And here's the same size piece of wood that's been coated with no burn. Now you can see, if you have a close look at this, it's got a rather nice texture on it, and that's the no burn once it's mixed in the paint. So there it is, you're both side by side in the barbecue, and at the moment the temperature of the barbecue is about 350 degrees. So while it's cooking away there, I'd like to tell you a little bit about no burn. Now no burn is a powder, it's a product. We supply you a 1/2 kilo of this product, 500 grams, which mixes into 5 litres of paint. Now the paint can be an oil-based paint or a water-based paint. It makes no never minds right to which paint you do it. Once you mix the no burn in and mix it in thoroughly, all those little particles of the fire retardant are mixed in the paint now, and when you paint it onto a fence post or a timber surface like a shed wall, or around the house, and particularly on post and rail type fencing, what happens, the dry mat or the dry finish leaves a mat, as you just saw there, like a textured surface on the wood. Now that texture are the particles of no burn mixed in the paint. Now they just stay there, they're quite benign until such time they're accelerated by fire. Now when a fire comes through, and I'm talking about temperatures now which are over 400 or 500 degrees Celsius, the paint will actually form blisters, all right? And the blisters are the insulator. They insulate the subsurface or the substrate from ignition. Now this process is called endothermic reaction, whereby it produces a insulating layer to prevent it from, well, it dilutes the effectivity of heat on the surface. So in other words, what it does, it's a fire retardant which prevents the surface from burning in a short period of time. Now if you get anything hot enough, it'll burn. I mean, even steel will burn. You get it up around 2000 degrees Celsius. But in a farm situation, in a fire will normally pass through with a bit of wind driving it behind in about 10, maybe 15 minutes at the outside. But the damage it causes in that 10 or 15 minutes, because what it does, it ignites all the other material. And if the material didn't catch fire, well, the fire would pass, and there wouldn't be enough residual heat after the fire to actually cause ignition. So with this, a good rule of thumb, obviously, if you live in a rural area, is around your house and around your sheds, truly, you should keep it, a couple of 100 metres of clear area around these buildings, and slash them a couple of times a year, because the fire can only propagate on fuel, and if you have the fuel available, obviously you're just inviting disaster. But here on our property, we have a good 100 metre zone around the house where we mow it about once every 3 months, and there's no possibility of a fire really encroaching on our house. So really a lot of it comes down to common sense in yourself, and obviously if you build a house in the middle of the bush, clear the damn thing for an area around the house so you have that safety zone. Anyway, our little sticks now are up to, where are we looking at here, close on 600 or 550 degrees Celsius. So let's see what they're doing. Oh, there we go. Now the temperature in there is 500 degrees, but you can see the untreated timber is already on fire, so we'll just leave that go for a little bit longer. But you can see the effectivity of no burn, even in that 3 or 4 minutes was in there. Now if that was a bushfire, that house would be on fire, or that shed, or those fence posts. But you can see the no burn has protected them already. So I'd like to tell you actually the story. I did mention in the first little video there, my grandfather, right, he told me about this when I was a little kid. Now he was an old man then, but in the 1920s, grandfather Robert Murphy, who had a pharmacy in Good Street, Granville in Sydney, he owned a company called Enfield Enamel Works, and he used to do cups and plates and things and what have you, and he produced all the enamel ware for World War I over there in Cosgrove Road, Enfield. Well, he sold that business and just sort of stepped back to his pharmacy, but he was such a brilliant man, truly. I mean, he taught me so much. Actually, I had my first chemistry set at age 5, thanks to him. But with that, he was telling me that you know, in the case of, you know, fires and what have you, that you can retard the development of fire. And particularly as he had a farm, he said, you know, we've treated all our fence posts, and in a bushfire they don't burn. And I tell you what, if you've ever lost fences in a bloody bushfire, you know after the fire you've got to go and dig the fence post out, replace them with another one, and it is very labour intensive, not to count the cost. So if you consider, you know, 5 litres of paint treated with you know, no burn is less than $20, my goodness gracious, you can do a whole bunch of fence posts with 5 litres of paint. But let's see how this little demonstration's going now. Oh, there we go, look at that. The untreated stick's burning like a beauty. But, you know, you can see the stick treated with no burn. Well, that doesn't even look like it. It's not even starting to char. Smoke. Let's go for a little bit longer. So that's now 6 minutes. It's been there in a temperature of 540 degrees. So with this, it's something very simple for you to apply. You just go to your normal hardware shop or paint supplier, go choose the colour paint you want, you know, whether it be oil-based or water-based, it makes no difference to no burn. And whether it be blue paint, green paint, white paint, black paint, you just mix, you know, the packet of no burn into it, mix it in and start painting it. It's that simple. Now, a lot of people have asked me over the last couple of months at shows and what have you, you know, how long does it last? Well, the answer to that question is it'll last as long as the paint lasts, because when you mix that no burn into the paint, you're encapsulating that in the paint itself, and that's why you get that nice texture. Oops, sorry. That's why you get that nice texture on the surface. But if the paint has a life of 10 years, well, the no burn will last for 10 years. If it's got a life of 5 years, well, you've got a life expectancy of 5 years. And as you know, paint is not water soluble, so the rain will have very little effect on it, because the no burn product encapsulated in the product is inside the paint. So you know, to answer your question, it's got a pretty good life. Let's have a look and see how this little fella's going. Ooh, there we go. Okay, we now have ignition. And yeah, that's taken quite a bit of time, but you can see the other bit of wood was well and truly on fire before the no burn started burning. So that's the end of the demonstration. I'd like you to seriously consider no burn for your maintenance around your property.